Good to see you all here today. Welcome to visitors, people I haven't seen for a while. I'm bringing you a health message this morning. If you don't have this book and you're new and you would like to have one, this is a book written by Dr. Eddie Ramirez and Carrie Haas on, it's called A Prepper's Handbook, The Pandemic Busters. It's some really practical things you can do yourself at home to help yourself to be more healthy. Today's is on the Battle of the Bulge, a topic some of us don't like to speak about, but it's important. There's a link between excess pounds and COVID-19. Obesity nearly triples the risk of your hospitalization from COVID. Excess pounds have been linked to impaired immune system function, increased pandemic-related risk for virtually everyone or anyone. The higher the body mass index, BMI, the higher the risk of COVID-related problems. Hospitalizations, ICU, intensive care, mechanical ventilation, and even death. Obesity, though, is not the only comorbidity rearing its ugly head during the pandemic, but it was a big one. What do you think the number one thing was? Was it lung problems that people had when they got COVID and it took them downhill? No. Actually, hypertension was number one, obesity was number two, and cardiovascular disease was number three. But there's a new kid on the block, and I'd never heard this before. So it's called osteosarcopenic obesity. Have any of you ever heard of that? Okay. People who lose bone density or are under-muscled have this condition. 30% of visibly lean people fit this description, making them metabolically obese. I have never heard of this. You can look thin and be metabolically obese at the same time. So looking thin doesn't automatically get you off the comorbidity hook. What we need is metabolic health. This is a growing problem in obesity. These are stats we need to know. Back in 1980, there were 850 million people who were overweight or obese. In 2014, 2.1 billion people. Definitely a problem. Obesity kills. 7 common diseases that result from being obese. Arthritis, I wouldn't have put that number one, but if you think about it, yeah, the extra weight on the bones and the everything. Back pain, cancer, diabetes, infertility, stroke, and heart disease. Nearly 30% of the world's population is obese or overweight. In many industrial countries, it's more than 50%. It's something that needs to be dealt with. And there's things that we can do for ourselves if we're in this predicament. Why are excess pounds so harmful to your immune system? You have something called ACE2 receptors. It's a protein on your cells. And it helps to regulate your blood pressure, inflammation, and wound healing. In an overweight person, these receptors are out of whack. And that's before COVID struck. So it puts the body in a state of chronic inflammation. And we know inflammation causes many, many diseases. So it's just the start. Impaired immunity through insulin and leptin resistance. The result, risk of disease, poor clinical outcomes when COVID-19 or some other disease comes. So, tips. Let's figure out what we can do for ourselves. How many of you have ever eaten a raw veggie diet for breakfast? Yes, raw veggies. While raw veggies might seem strange menu choice at breakfast, they provide important health benefits for a turnaround diet. In addition, it's low in calories, low in fat. They're an exceptional source of good gut bacteria needed to improve your health, your good gut biome. Cooking tends to kill off the good bacteria, which is why raw veggies are best for this purpose. and fiber, vitamins, and health-promoting antioxidants you get from that. If you have a hard time with veggies, do fruit. But the recommendation is not tropical fruit, but berries. So switch off and on. If you don't want to do the veggies for breakfast, try the fruit. Okay, tip number 2, try a nutritional gastric band. Now that sounds like something they might do to your stomach, but that's not what they're talking about here. It says to lose weight quickly, try filling your tummy before a meal starts with the following remedy. A tablespoon of glucosamine, which is a water-soluble dietary fiber. I've never heard of it. I had to look it up to see what that word meant. A tablespoon of flax meal, a tablespoon of chia seed or psyllium husk, and a cup of water. And what that does is it bulks up, and it fills your stomach up. And so when you go to eat, you think, oh, I don't need that much to eat this meal because I'm really full now. So they say you do that every day, watch your pounds drop off. Tip number 3, curb your emotional eating. Me, I'm an emotional eater. With what I'm dealing with in my home, I am up here, down here, over there, out the door, in the door, and I go to the refrigerator. And I'll be real honest with you, and it's not the good thing to do. Many people deal with emotional turmoils because they're comfort foods. They can be soothing, but there's better ways to deal with your emotions. That's for me. Amen. Okay. Don't forget your G-bombs. Do you remember what your G-bombs are? Anybody? Can you name any of them? Berries. Okay, berries. Greens, berries, onion family, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. You want to get a good gut biome going on? You add those to your diet. Okay, you want to keep that glycemic index below 55. You need to eat foods that are low glycemic. I think watermelon is a low, you would think because of all the sugar, it would be a high glycemic, but actually the sugar goes in your systems more slowly, so it evens you out better. The ones you don't want to eat are, they raise your blood sugar way up and then they drop you off the map. And so you need something that keeps your insulin levels a little bit more stable. Manage your meal times. Your digestive tract, like our rest of our bodies, needs time to rest. If you're eating up into the night, not a good thing, because your body, your digestive system needs to repair itself and refurbish itself. And if you are constantly putting stuff in all day and all night, it doesn't have a chance to repair and heal if you have problems. So, if you want a good gut biome, have meals earlier in the day and, drink more water, because water will fill you up also. Okay. And they say there's benefits of skipping supper, believe it or not, okay? Benefits: bolster growth hormone production. Now, HGH is produced in the pituitary gland, and it plays a role in your metabolism, so how your body does food. It's a natural hormone, and it keeps your blood sugar levels in a healthy range. So there is benefits. So you reduce your risk of chronic disease such as diabetes and heart disease. You have increased stamina the next day. Your reduction in elevated blood glucose, you know what it is, glucose and lipid levels. And it bolsters that growth hormone production, which, in the pituitary gland does a whole lot of things in your body. I can't even tell you, but there's so many things we can do to help ourselves. And when we're not, I think of the thing, when you know what to do and you don't do it, it's called sin. So when you know the truth and you can do something about it, God can help us do it. And when we're not on our own. So, make some changes if you need to, so you may live longer and serve God in a healthier state. Okay, and get some walking in and weight-bearing exercise. Stay away from fat-free. Your brain needs fat to function, but it don't need those kinds of fats, okay? It's recommended here for a therapeutic diet. The best places to get fat are olives, avocados, seeds, nuts, and other whole food sources. Be sure to get enough Z's, sleep at night, okay? And drink plenty of water. So, we got to do what we got to do to be healthy for God, because our bodies are magnificent things. And just like a car, you have a book that tells you what to do to maintain your car, as you guys know, because you don't got brake fluid, what's going to happen? You're going to be in an accident someday. If you don't maintain the proper gasoline in your engine, what's going to happen? It's going to ruin your engine. Same with our bodies. I mean, God created the master manual for us. Open it up, read it, use it, and ask God for help if you're struggling with something. May God bless your day today.